Let's dive right into this explainer. Look, we hear a ton about AI writing our emails or drafting code, right? But what happens when you actually trust it to buy the materials to build a skyscraper? Today, we're putting that to the test. We're going to see if top-tier AI models can handle high-stakes, real-world construction procurement without making catastrophic errors.
So to find out, researchers set up a really fascinating experiment. They pitted three heavyweights, ChatGPT, Claude, and Gemini, against a complex engineering data set for a three-story reinforced concrete residential building. And to be clear, this wasn't some creative writing test. It was a rigorous, highly constrained engineering challenge.
The models were tasked with procuring exactly 2,638.38 kilograms of precision calculated steel. They had to take a raw control weight of 24,650 newtons, convert it, sort it by diameter, and get the math absolutely perfect. Along with the steel, they had to calculate precisely 28.560 cubic meters of standard M25 structural concrete. And they couldn't just guess here. They had to factor in a strict 5% procurement allowance. In this industry, a simple rounding error could literally derail the entire project. Section 1, the AI Procurement Challenge. The sheer complexity of this workflow is honestly wild. These AIs weren't just doing basic calculator math. They had to interpret the engineering demand, evaluate quotes from 3 different fictional suppliers, assess supply chain risks, and then draft the final purchase order conditions. They basically had to act as the ultimate digital procurement manager.
Section 2, the supplier showdown.
Okay, so supplier B came in with the lowest price at 318,146 rupees. Now, if an AI was just hunting for the cheapest option, B is the clear winner. But as we know, in construction, cheap often means risky. Supplier B required an advance payment, they had a slow 5D delivery time, and their concrete availability was strictly conditional. To evaluate these vendors fairly, the AIs had to navigate this incredibly strict weighted matrix. Total procurement cost was only 30% of the puzzle. Delivery time, reliability, quality, and payment terms made out the rest of the picture. The AI had to process these specific weights without breaking the underlying formulas. And here is the true best value proposition. Supplier C actually wins with a verified score of 92.65%. Even though they were the most expensive option on the table, their 96% reliability, highest quality rating, and rapid one-day delivery totally offset their higher cost. Section 3, the million rupee mistake. Now, this is where the showdown gets really dramatic, and we see the danger of blindly trusting these models. When reviewing the outputs, the researchers noted a crucial takeaway regarding Claude. Claude produced a visually clear, beautifully structured, and professionally organized report. If you just glanced at it, it looked absolutely perfect. However, hidden beneath all that beautiful formatting, Claude made a massive critical miscalculation. It understated supplier B's cost by exactly 100,000 rupees. Oh, and it also tossed in a smaller 21 rupee error on supplier A, just for good measure. The takeaway here? You simply cannot trust the polish. Claude's incorrect cost calculation flowed directly into its weighted scores, completely corrupting the final evaluation. It proved that a confident, highly articulate AI can still completely fail at basic arithmetic, creating a beautiful lie that could cost a project dearly. Section 4, ranking the AI models. Looking at this cross-model capability profile, we get a highly revealing look at how ChatGPT, Gemini, and Claude stacked up across numerical accuracy, assumption control, risk coverage, prompt adherence, and procurement completeness. It really highlights their distinct strengths and weaknesses. And ChatGPT emerged as the clear winner. It produced the most balanced and internally consistent report of the bunch. It absolutely nailed the math, successfully recommended supplier C, and importantly, it avoided inventing project-specific data, like assumed concrete strength metrics that just weren't provided in the initial prompt. As for the runners-up, Gemini did pretty well on the math and had persuasive language, but it was penalized for hallucinating data, basically inventing project assumptions out of thin air. And Claude, as we just saw, fell completely flat on the critical numbers, despite its incredibly professional tone. Section 5, the human safety net. So the report concludes that safely integrating AI into construction procurement requires a really strict framework. As you can see, there must be 4 distinct stages where human experts act as mandatory release gates. You just don't hand the keys over to the machine. At every single step, human oversight is the ultimate safeguard. When the AI structures the quantities, a human has to verify the structural bar bending schedule. When the AI calculates costs, a human independently recalculates them. And when the AI drafts the final conditions, humans must provide commercial approval before a purchase order is ever actually released. In an early phase of the experiment, researchers actually noted a really dangerous trend. AI models will confidently assume missing variables. Think about it. If an engineering drawing is incomplete, the AI might just silently guess the detailing assumptions, which leads to wildly different material outcomes. Human verification stops that in its tracks.
Before a single rupee is spent, procurement teams have to use a strict final approval checklist like this one. You have to freeze the evaluation method externally, confirm those unit rates, verify the mill certificates, and manually recalculate everything the AI hands you.
Ultimately, AI can save massive amounts of time structuring data, comparing matrices, and drafting risk registers. It's an incredible asset. But AI is a tool, not a project manager. Human beings must own the commercial and structural consequences. So I'll leave you with this to think about. Consider the AI systems and reports you're starting to use every single day. Are you trusting the beautiful formatting, or are you actually verifying the underlying facts? If a polished report can hide a 100,000 rupee mistake, how many human gates does your workflow really need? Thanks for joining me on this explainer. I'll see you next time.